With a smile, has Joyboy awakened in Luffy from 800 years ago? Is Luffy's devil fruit really not the Gomu Gomu no Mi? And how does this chapter tell us why the Gorosei and Imu fear the powers of Luffy? First off, I think some people in the One Piece community, which I'll leave in the description below, may have figured out the true properties of Luffy's fruit. And I say properties of this fruit because I still think the name of the fruit is yet to be uncovered. And this theory of Luffy's fruit actually possessing the properties of resin rather than rubber ties in very well to what I theorize the name of Luffy's true devil fruit is. And in nature, resin is a sticky substance that is obtained from the sap of trees. Resin has an amber state which enables it to stretch, resembling the stretchiness of rubber. Resin becomes soft on heating, a callback to Gear 2. It burns when ignited, explaining both Red Hawk and Red Rock. Resin can be hardened, which is basically what Gear 4 is. And just like rubber, resin is an insulator to electricity. So I would say unlucky and no, your lightning's still not gonna work. And this would also explain this weird occurrence of Luffy looking like he's melting into a gooey substance. And Oda has been dropping hints with Luffy's body being formed by resin rather than rubber, with Oda revealing his second favorite moment of the One Piece anime ever. Seems nothing is happening in this scene, where Robin says, "Ew, it's sticky," and Usopp says, "Don't wipe it on me." But guess what the substance is called they were talking about? It is natural resin extracted from the roots of the mangrove tree. And Oda actually commented why this is his second favorite scene ever, because he says it fleshes out quiet world building in the series. Also, 4 chapters ago in the cover page, we see that there's a literal Monkey King pointing to a yellow sticky substance that resin resembles. Basically, this Monkey King is saying, "Luffy, look, this is your fruit, bro, look." And we know Oda loves his chapter numbers and a bit of wordplay. And guess what the chapter number of 1043 turns out to be in Japanese? Yeah, what is it? Jushimi resin body. What? Resin body? The chapter number of Luffy's awakening literally translates to resin body. I mean, let's be real, Oda's basically telling us that Luffy's made of resin. So what I think is happening is what Shanks told Luffy long ago in chapter 1, that Luffy turned into a robber human. It was completely true at that point. But as Luffy's progressed through Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4, and now this new form of Luffy, which we'll call Gear 5, he's starting to awaken all the properties of his devil fruit, which rather than possessing the properties of rubber, is showing to have the properties of resin. But why is this resin fruit so special? Why does Zunisha hear the drums of liberation ringing once Luffy's awakened, when Luffy is just simply a resin human rather than a rubber human? Well, I think the substance to make this fruit was one of the things Joyboy left behind. How do you even know that, Real Raymond? Is your IQ really that high? Yes, my IQ is actually in the thousands, and I've been digging into mythology, and there are actually various mythologies related to amber, the name for fossilized resin, and the sun. And I'll link this article in the description, and if you check it out, there's a lot of connections here. In this mythology, actually the son of the sun god, Panthesis, was killed, and it was said that the remains of this god were left behind in fossilized resin. Similar to this Greek legend, in the same way, the case could be made when the sun god Nika died. The remains of his devil fruit were scattered around in certain trees in the One Piece world. And like we covered before, resin does exist within the roots of the mangrove tree. And now if we come full circle, Luffy's fruit that has the properties of resin may have been formed with the lineage factor or DNA from Joyboy himself. The lineage factor, as explained by the genius scientist Dr. Vegapunk, is described as the blueprint of life itself and exists within all living things. So if Joyboy's lineage factor remained in this resin, technically he's still living within Luffy's devil fruit, which would explain this weird Joyboy occurrence happening right now in One Piece. And I'm not saying Joyboy will take over Luffy and possess him, although it looks like it's happening right now. But I think with Luffy's devil fruit, he's able to tap into the will of the original Joyboy. And it seems more and more as the story progresses that Luffy's fruit may be the fruit the Gorosei were talking about in chapter 1037. Of course, the possibility of other fruits like Toki's fruit is a big possibility, but right now, Luffy's looking like the prime candidate. I originally didn't think so, since the Gomu Gomu no Mi had been shown and broadcasted to the whole world. I mean, most people knew of Luffy's existence through Marineford and saw him stretch like rubber. So if this fruit was really that special, surely the Gorosei would know already. But they too, like me, were thinking very small brain and were under the assumption that Luffy was indeed rubber. And now with Luffy's new awakening and Zunisha being suddenly activated by Luffy, they may realize they were wrong about their assumptions of Luffy's fruit. And this fruit was the Nika Nika no Mi. What? Nika Nika no Mi? I thought you told us it was made of resin. Just like Emu and the world government, I was hiding the truth from you. But unlike Emu who hid the truth for 800 years, I only hid the truth for like under 5 minutes. So I think Luffy's fruit gives the user the properties of resin, but it's called the Nika Nika no Mi. First off, if the name of the fruit are truly what the Gorosei are hiding, do Do you think they're gonna hide the name of the Resin no Mi? But if the name of this fruit was named after the original Joy Boy himself, the one whose lineage factor formed the fruit, the sun god Nika, the fruit's true name needed to be erased from this world. And I truly think Resin itself is not the end of the Nika no Mi's powers. I theorize Luffy's final Devil Fruit ability will give him access to a Logia Sun form. And if you've seen my Emu video, it will be a battle of the suns. But anyways, a wise philosopher by the name of Real Raymond once said, to truly know your own powers, you must look at your opponents. Blackbeard. Blackbeard possesses the most powerful Paramecia, the Goro no Mi, the most powerful Logia, the Darkness Fruit, and is speculated to get access to a mythical Zone Fruit. Just like Blackbeard with one Devil Fruit, Luffy has the powers of a Robber Paramecia, a Zone through his Gear 4 forms, and if this trend continues, Luffy may acquire the direct opposition to Blackbeard's Darkness Fruit, the powers of the Sun God Nika himself. And what really convinces me of this is Blackbeard's Yami no Mi and Luffy's Game no Mi look the same in shape and color, so it makes me think just like their personalities are both similar and opposite in so many ways, so are their Devil Fruits. But even with these immense powers Luffy's Devil Fruit may have, I still don't think it takes away from Luffy, as his Devil Fruit was quite average to begin with, and only through his hard work he revealed the true potential of this Devil Fruit. And something we all knew long ago, as special as Luffy's Devil Fruit may be, even if Joy Boy's lineage factor is within the fruit, this is not actually why Emu fears Luffy. Dracula Mihawk once said, it is Luffy's ability to bring allies together which is his most terrifying ability, and this hasn't changed. Interestingly, there was a novel published in 1987, around 12 years before the publishment of One Piece, where there's a character with the name of Joy Boy that appears. It was said this character represents the human desire to dance, sing, and jubilate, and is represented by a character smiling and playing drums. And in this novel, this figure was worshipped as the man who freed the slaves. And it seems through Luffy's awakening and Zunisha's statement of the drums of liberation, that Luffy is the man just like in this novel, Joy Boy, and will be the man to eventually rally the people into a full-scale revolution against the government. But how do I know for sure this fruit is called the Nika no Mi? Well, I don't know for 100% guarantee, as this is a theory after all, but I think I have quite a good guess. Luffy happens to be fighting a certain individual right now by the name of Kaido, but people seem to forget that Kaido's true ambition of creating a great war that would turn the world upside down seems to be the same ambition that Joy Boy had. And it was said by Whitebeard that someone will come around and create a war so large that it will turn the world on its head. And what does Kaido want exactly? He wants that! An army made up of Smile Fruit users. Or I guess you could call them Nika Fruit users, since the translation of the actual definition of Nika is to smile through one's teeth. The entire New World saga was focused around stopping the production of Smile Fruits, which stage 1 was destroying Caesar's Sad Factory in Punk Hazard, the substance needed to create Smile Fruits. Doflamingo manufactured these fruits and distributed them to Kaido, so one day Kaido, similar to Joy Boy, would create a war that would tilt the very seas themselves. Kaido needed Smile Fruits as a means to change the world, or as a means to become Joy Boy, the man who has formed an oppressive leadership and breaks the will of those who he wants to work for him, and restricts the basic freedoms of his people. But Luffy is the opposite, a man of the people, a symbol of liberty. And just like the opposing nature of both Luffy and Kaido, I think this is represented in both their Devil Fruits as well. Kaido is a legendary mythical dragon that rules over Wano with his immense strength, whereas the name of Luffy's Devil Fruit likens him to all those people in Okobore Town who are suffering, and must mourn the death of those fallen in laughter. Luffy smiles with them, with the true name of his Devil Fruit being the Smile no Mi, or in Japanese, the Nika no Mi. Luffy waking up with a smile, with a sound effect of Nika being made. Maybe Oda telling us that the true name of Luffy's Devil Fruit is the Nika no Mi. The Devil Fruit name that Imu and the Gorosei wanted to erase from history. The Devil Fruit name that is a symbol for unity. The fruit where Luffy shares the same name of those mistreated both in Kaido's ranks and in Wano itself. The smile symbol of the D-Clan, a symbol of revolution. And the fruit that shares the will of Joy Boy, who seek to liberate the world 800 years ago. The Nika no Mi. And possibly the artificial Smile Fruits, the Nika no Mi, and resin stored within the trees of the One Piece world. Tell us how Devil Fruits were created. 72 hours. Subscribe to stay notified.